snow hills grass. Stand my eyes in the sun. Now I am blinded by your light. Knowing what's feeling don't seem crazy.
Hey everyone, in this video I want to give an overview of my product line of snagless muskie lures. Choice Snagless Bucktails became available in 2017, and new for 2018 is a Convertible Baitcast Fly. These lures all feature unique weedless wire form construction, and the soft materials and components are added to that. These are the models. We got this is the standard French. It's got a smaller 4/0 treble French blade that you're used to. We got the double 8s standard model. We also have the double 8 flatulator. This is a repurposed CO2 cartridge. It leaks a trail of bubbles on the way in, so you're going to have added action from that. Another standard model we got is the single mag 9. It's got the thick number 9 blade on it. These are great. Also got the double 10 double tail, so you got two snagless tails tied right here. Big blades that a lot of you guys like. And also got the Delta Surface. It's basically your buzz bait that's going to bring you through the weeds, over the wood, all that kind of stuff. So a little bit about how they work. We got, they feature, show you on this one, they all feature tension-loaded weed guards. So they're sprung when the fish bite down, okay? And the fish basically, just like that, and they're just going to pop up. So each one of the trebles has one of those on it. They just spring out when they're tripped. So you see one come in that's like that, just feed it back. And they're also stowable. So when you're fishing in snag-free areas, you can just take them and you go over the bend of the hook, and just like this, just slip them down, and then they're just gonna sit below the bend of the hook. Get my finger out of there. There we go. So you can see how that one's sitting, and you can do that to all of them. So this year we have the Convertible Baitcast Fly. Really excited to be putting that out there this year. Essentially one of these, and you can see a couple of them here on the other vices. These use the same snagless core construction with some additional hardware features. Keel weight sits below the foam cylinder, and it allows the lure to be heavy enough to cast with conventional gear. And it has buoyancy from foam. That's basically in there. I'll show you basically the frame of one of these. You can kind of see it up close. So it's all wrapped in this Tech Flex material, and it's a braided sheathing basically for cabling materials. It's going to protect that foam, and it's also stuffed with rattles, so you can see that they're loud. They're going to get the fish's attention. A lot of different guts than you're going to see on any fly that you would throw on, like a conventional fly rod. This is all bait casting equipment. It's gear. That's why I've made this so guys can throw them on, the rods that they're used to throwing, and still have basically a fly that's going to work on the water, and that you can cast on any of your regular bait casting equipment. So a couple other things about these. We got, obviously there's, tons of materials that are packed onto here. We got, different build points. There's 3 basically build points on here, and you can see there's marabou, hackles, flash materials, deer hair. The marabou does soak up some water, so the lure is going to be a little bit heavier even, easier to cast once it does get wet. So just keep that in mind, when you're looking at the models, how much they weigh. You're going to get them out there, don't worry about it. So I make them in 2 different styles. We got mainly a floating and a slow sinking. I showed you the slow sinking. This is the perch model. Right here in the vise, this is a floating model. And basically it's just a little lighter weight, and it's got a bigger foam packed into there. You can kind of see the cylinder. It's rather big. Just keeps it up on top, keeps it from sinking down. Nice and loud, so you're going to get pretty aggressive presentation up there if you're working it real fast. With the slow sinking, they're basically going to glide through the water and you've got a lot of glide baits. You can it's almost like you're walking the dog underwater. If you want to give them extra action with your rod tip, they're really going to respond a lot more. But if you just want to, you guys work them the way you like them, but they will respond to to side movements like that. You're going to want to use a balanced fluorocarbon leader out in front of these. When they don't have any blades attached to them, you're going to want, when I say balance, it's a coast lock snap. So if you see it up close here, you can see that where the fluorocarbon meets it, it's going to be centered down here, and it's just going to hang on there straight. You're going to see some of these leaders out there. It's going to make them pull off to one side if you don't have a balanced leader. Some of the snaps don't hang exactly in the middle, so we do make those. You can find them in our specialties tackle section, and they pair well with the baitcast flies and the bucktails, of course. So the weedless features on these lures are just fantastic. I love throwing them. You can throw them into anything. I mean, you can have confidence to throw them into places you really wouldn't consider throwing a lot of other baits, and it's going to change some of the way that you're going to tactically beat up some of these bays and riverbanks and things like that. You can also fish these baitcast flies in places that are going to tangle most of the spinner blades that are out there. You can't stop the spinner blades from wrapping up into stuff. It is what it is. But these baitcast flies, you can just bring them in. They're just going to cut right through it. You're going to be surprised how thick of stuff you can throw these in, and just watch them come right out of it unscathed. It's really fun to do. So we really enjoyed throwing these in the flooded timber this year. It was if you're looking at flooded timber bays, or you're looking at riverbanks and chucking it up there where the fish are sitting, you really don't have to have the fear that you normally would with so many other lures. They're just going to drop right down into the wood and catch it. You're going to blow up that spot. You're not going to catch those fish when you're snagged, and it just really makes things a lot more enjoyable out there. So as the name suggests, the Convertible Baitcast Fly, it converts into additional bait modes by attaching different add-ons, and I've got a few of them here. Basically, got weighted bucktail blade sets that these look a lot like the front of one of these double 10 double tails. It's basically just the front. You've got the two blades. You've got the weight right there, and it's going to add weight. So you can pair this with either the floating model out in front, just with a split ring. Just attach it with the split ring pliers, and it's going to bring the floating model subsurface. The slow sinking models it pairs great with, obviously. The second add-on that I have here is the buzz blade set. So you're going to be just split ringing this onto the front. You put one of these on to pair this with the frog. You can pair this up just like that, and you got the buzz blade set. You can just bring this in on top, whether it's a floating or a slow sinking model. It's going to ride it up on top. It's going to dictate speed depending on which one you have. See, the other one we have, it's basically a chopper prop combo. So I got this thing right here. Give you a nice close-up. So it's two chopper blades, and we got a clockwise and a counterclockwise that are stacked on each other, okay? And so when one's going to spin in one direction, one's going to go in the other, they're going to bang on occasion, and they really make a really nice disturbance, a nice noise factor that's really going to get some attention. These are going to, maybe not be the most ideal in your, really grassy weeds or whatnot, but you get a little bit of room to work, this is really going to get noticed. So this is really good pairing with the floating version. You get this out in front of one of those, and it's just going to sputter. I just love these. Next, we got the jig dancer blades. So you can turn it into a fifth bait here, okay? So you're going to add it on. You get a couple split rings here. You just attach it right there, and boom, this thing's gonna, just wave its way through. It's good to add some of these weight add-ons that we also have. You can put those out in front, and it's just gonna come through the water. It's gonna bring it down a little more. These like to have the bait rise up, so you want to counteract that unless you really like working it slow. But it's really gonna add a lot of throb, kind of jiggle to the retrieve if you've thrown stuff like that before. So those are some of the ways that you can do that. We have also these weight add-ons are great for adding to just our standard Choice Snagless Bucktails line. If you want to get these deltas out there, the buzz baits, if you want to get these out there a little bit farther, add a half ounce, 1 ounce, whatever, makes it more comfortable for you to, cut some wind, get it out there. You want to get some more depth on the weed lines. That's a great way to do it too. You can work the bucktails a lot deeper, just keep adding them on, and you can do a lot more different things with any of these baits. Also with the bucktails, being that I really liked adding the rattles to the Convertible Baitcast Flies this year, I actually have these rattle arm pairs. They're just it's a real small combo that you can add to any of the bucktails, and basically you can put them on the back and you just slide them on just like this. You want to put one on just have them on two different hooks, and what you want to do is just have them so that they sit back here and they kind of cross, and then when they're in the blade wash, they're going to bang into each other and they're going to make that extra noise that you might be looking for. It's really nice to add to any of the bucktails, any bucktail you got in your box for that matter. So I'll have some of these available online or at any of the shows if you see me over there. I wanted to go over another thing with the baitcast flies. I have some of these have plastic articulation, what we call it. So see this is a frog. He's got some rubber legs on there, this is a floater. So we'll also have some sinking models with the plastic articulations, as I call it. But basically, these are just turned on there with these coil springs. I can show you right there. So basically, the plastic's just going to twist onto these. It goes around several times, so it's not on the hooks. It's just if it has if it's built with them, you're going to find these in various positions on those lures, and they all come with additional plastic. So if you're going to buy them, you're not going to get it ripped up the one first time or whatever and not have something to go with it. This is a great thing to have in your box. It's already going to come with it. Another thing that I'd recommend too is this Pro Weld worm welder. These things are great. If you got any plastics in your box, they're going to pay for themselves just super quickly. So they're really nice to have. Basically, it's just a soldering iron for plastics. It doesn't leave black marks. They're just a great product. You should look them up. Occasionally, you might find a feather or two that tends to have a little too much length where it can wrap up in the blades. You can just easily take care of this with the nail clippers. You just want to get the corner of the nail clippers right into the corner. Try to get up close here, and you just want to get it barely in there, so you're just basically leaving a V instead of a pointed feather. That way you're just not leaving a flush cut, and you can even just pop them out like that too. So you can see it's more of a V shape, but that's what I would do if you have any of those. It's just a distance thing, so you can eyeball that yourselves. Let's see, a couple other things I want to go over about the care and storage. With all the hooks being covered by weed guards, the ideal way to store these bucktails and buzzbaits is a hanging box with the eyelet on top instead of head first. So basically, what I like to do is I just hang them. They're hanging right in just like this. If you use one of those just in case boxes, it's a great product. They take care of these bucktails so nicely. All these eyelets are gapped, so you're going to see about a 1/4 inch gap between the wire wrap and the first bead, and that goes with all the blades here. If you have if you have a baitcast fly that's not running any blades, I have some fly hangers that There's just a real easy way you can stick them right into the slot, and they'll just basically hang the bait for you in there. If you're more of a flat box guy, I recommend going with the Plano Hydro Flows. Those will at least let the baits dry out. Another thing to keep in mind, most of these baits have some marabou on them. Even the deer hair can hold a bit of water in it, but good thing to do is let them dry out. You know, if the conditions on the water aren't drying out the bait for you when you get in, you know, just it's nice to stick a fan on them, just so you know you're going to keep them from rusting. You don't want to leave that water on the marabou right on the hooks and, you know, rusting them up. So that's just a good way to keep good care of them. Another thing is we got as of last year, if you bought any of the Choice Snagless Bucktail line, just did one simple feature that you can take care of with the needle nose pliers. Just prevents weeds from coming in the back of the hook. If you can see, we had them basically sitting kind of like this, so there's be a little bit of a gap, a rise there. So you can actually just take that down. Just take a needle nose pliers. I'll try to get up close here, and you go about you know, just eye it up so that you're just in front of the point of the hook, and then basically you just gently bend it up at a very slight angle, and then you just stick it back underneath, and you can just gently kind of nudge these up. Just get under them just a little bit and pull upward, and they're when they're sitting flush with the hook just like that, that's what you want. So that's the just a small tuning tip. So a couple other things that are be nice, you know, with any of the single strand wire, it's going to require some occasional tuning. Good things to have, obviously. Just about everybody's got a needle nose out in the boat, but a round nose pliers is good for those the bends at the back. So if you need to put one back into place, if you got a fish that's thrashing in the net or whatever and moved it out of place for you, that's a good thing to have. Obviously a split ring plier, so you can put these add-ons into place as you wish. Those are really the three things that are good to have with these baits. So, all right, well, basically that's the overview of the products that I got available here for the Weedless Muskie lures. If there's anything else that you have questions on, feel free to contact me. We've got a lot of brand new styles this year that we're going to be rolling out, as well as all these new components and add-ons go with the Baitcast Fly. So I appreciate you checking it out, and good luck out on the water.